What is up, everybody? Long time no see. It's Dylan from Redline here, and today we're going to be talking about if my Audi is reliable. Now, as many of you know, these German cars don't really have the best stigma in terms of reliability. They're expensive to maintain, supposedly. They break every other second, electrical gremlins. But what is my experience with owning a German car, and how has it been? Now, I do want to go ahead and apologize to you guys for not uploading at all last week. I've been pretty caught up in school and everything. Like I said, it's my senior year. And as you can see behind me, it's winter time and Ohio is not too friendly during these months in terms of like out of the car filming. Like for example, right now I'm in the car, got the heat blasting, the butt warmers are cooking, and I'm chilling in an 85-degree climate. But yeah, if you're into anything automotive, I do upload here on the channel 3 times a week. I have this 2013 Audi S4, 1987 Mustang that is boosted, and we're gonna be looking at my next project here soon, my 47 Lincoln Continental. And all my friends' cool cars, the family's cool cars. We're a car channel, we do everything automotive, so be sure to subscribe for more. Now let's hop into the video. Now I do have this folder full of every single maintenance record I have for the car, which is pretty in depth, and it can kind of help to gauge an idea on how reliable this car is, obviously based on maintenance, what's gone wrong, what's needed replaced, and all that good stuff. I'm going to go more in depth on the actual ownership costs of this car in my next video, but in terms of maintenance, let's see how it's been. Now, the B8 and B8.5 generation of these cars, the S4 and S5s in particular, are pretty reliable cars with a 3.0T drivetrain. Not many issues to be accounted for, but there are some gremlins that you need to know about. Now, I purchased this 2013 Audi S4 about 1.5 years ago. At that time, it was sitting at about 77,000 miles. The odometer currently reads 97,600 miles. So I guess this is kind of my 20,000 mile update too. Prior to this B8.5, I did have a B8 S4 2012 DSG car. It was bone stock, but that car had about 150,000 miles. Kind of crazy. So I'm pretty familiar with like higher mileage examples of this car and higher mileage cars in general. But in terms of reliability, this car has been pretty stout. There aren't really too many issues to begin with on these cars, and what issues there were, the previous owner already took care of. So I've already had my PCV, thermostat, and all that good stuff replaced preventatively, which helps me out a lot, and that's less stuff I have to worry about. I do drive a lot, obviously, as you can tell. I mean, 20,000 miles in about 1 year. It's not even been 1.5 years, less than that. It's a good amount of driving, and this car has held up phenomenally. I mean, I do oil changes every about 3,000 miles, DSG flushes every 30,000 miles, brakes whenever you need brakes. I try to stay on top of maintenance as best as I can, and even do preventative maintenance whenever it calls for it. I'm well aware of the things that go wrong on these cars and what mileage they typically go wrong and what causes those issues. So if I can get on a forefront and fix those beforehand, I'm going to. Now, this is my daily driver, like I said, but on top of being my daily driver, I do actually hit the track in this thing as well. It is tuned, it's dual pulley, and the tune has not messed with my reliability at all. It's actually made this car more pleasant in a daily driving experience. It's more fun, and like in eco mode, you get better gas mileage. It's just a better all-around car, and the fact that it doesn't hinder reliability at all, I'm all for it. So what all is going wrong on my car in these 20,000 miles? Well, to start, most of the things that have gone wrong have been self-induced, because that's my luck. The first thing that comes to mind that went bad on my S4 was my steering rack. Now, these cars have an electronic adjusting steering rack, whatever the technical name is by Audi. There's actually a TSB on this, a technical service bulletin from Audi, and they recognize the issue. But sadly, my steering rack was broke by a shop doing my test pipes. They lowered my subframe and decided to start my car without my rack being hooked up, so I had to get a new steering rack. Luckily, they covered all that, so that's just one thing that went wrong. The wiring to my supercharger coolant pump, so it's like your auxiliary coolant pump, it's on the driver's side. Now, that went wrong on my car. Not really sure what caused it or if it was always like that, but I was out racing when I had gone dual pulley, and I realized that my IATs were going to the moon. And I was like, what is causing this? Because I have like a really good heat exchanger. I have all the cooling mods galore, and I'm like, well, this shouldn't be. Since high IATs are a common thing on these cars, My tuner 034 was pretty familiar with what the issue could have been, and the coolant loop isn't too complex and it's pretty easy to narrow down what the issue is. So eventually we hooked up a VACCOM ROS cable, figured out my coolant pump wasn't working at all, and decided to fix that. I opted for the upgraded CWA 100-3 pump from Techomotive. That was about $300, not too crazy. And since then, my car's been running nice and cool and haven't seen any issues with the IETs or any of that. A few other issues on the car were just common wear items. I mean, I had a wheel bearing go bad. That's obviously gonna happen on every car. I did a sway bar end link, or actually both front ones for that matter, brakes. And I had an exhaust leak from my flex pipe. That's a known issue on these cars. The down pipes start vibrating, and if you have a rattle like right under your seat, that is your flex pipe, and it's probably on the verge of exploding, because that's very common on these. Both this S4 and my last S4 had the same issue, so got new flex pipes in there, all good, no issues since then. And that just about sums it up for the issues I've had. I mean, this car has been extremely stout and reliable. The 3.0T drivetrain is just amazing, especially being a German car. People are like, oh, it's not gonna be reliable, it's junk, blah, blah, blah. Well, I hate to break it to you, this is no 335 N54. This thing holds up, all the hoses are good, everything lasts, and knock on wood, I haven't had any major issues. Being tuned, when I first got the car and it was single pulley, no issues. Yeah, just long story short, take care of your car. I always like to say the car is as good to you as you are to it, and well, most cases that's true. Some cars just suck regardless, but in these, they're reliable. If you're gonna take care of your Audi, it'll take care of you back. Now, since I am coming up on 100,000 miles, I'm gonna do a little more preventative maintenance actually. Common issue on cars that are dual pulley like mine is the intercooler breaks and your superchargers start to go bad. And I think I'm just gonna go ahead and replace those ahead of time. Maybe get a ported blower to go with it. Why not kill all the birds with one stone and make more power while you're at it? I have also heard of the high pressure fuel pump on these cars going bad, even like in stock form. So I kind of plan to upgrade that anyways, because I do want to mess with E40 a little bit, or maybe I'll hold out till the port injection comes out for these cars. But even then, I still will need a high pressure fuel pump upgrade. So I do plan to do that. And I'm gonna go ahead and do all my control arm bushings and all that good stuff. Maybe motor mounts. Cars at this mileage tend to have the motor mounts going bad. I've yet to receive any fault codes or anything. No weird vibration. But here in the near future, I might go ahead and get the 034 mounts and the control arms just to freshen her up, get a stiffer drivetrain ultimately. But yeah, with all that being said, my data logs have looked amazing. Everything seems to be functioning perfectly. I'm not really one to beat the crap out of my car. I mean, I do stretch its legs every once in a while. Obviously not gonna do it here in the ice, but I do stretch the car's legs every once in a while and let her eat a little bit. I mean, it's a performance car, it needs that. But yeah, it's a pretty reliable car. I'm probably gonna go ahead and do a DSG service while I'm doing everything else. I'm good buddies with an Audi tech. Casey, shout out to you. Might be getting S4 in here soon for some goodies. One thing that people say I should be worried about, but I'm not really too worried about, is the mechatronics unit in the S4. Now, my car is a DSG. DSG cars have a mechatronic unit, which is essentially the brain of their transmission. I'm going to get into further detail in an upcoming video where I go over literally all the issues and common faults that go wrong on these cars. But to sum it up, that's a common issue on the older DSG cars. And I'm not too stressed about that on this. I keep up on my DSG services, and from what I can tell, cars that are kept up on their services aren't absolutely getting launched every 2 seconds. They hold up just fine. And this is also a later model DSG, being that it's a late model 2013 car. So it's a slightly improved system and not as likely to go wrong. I do love this car and plan to keep it for quite some time. I have big goals for it, as I've said in previous videos. My next video will probably be all the common faults and issues to look out for on a B8, B8.5, S4, S5, or any 3.0T car for that matter, like the Q5, SQ5, all those goodies. Yeah, that just about sums up this video. If you guys are into anything automotive, like I said before, be sure to subscribe for more content. I post here on the channel 3 times a week. I have this B8.5 S4, a Mustang, my Lincoln's my next project. got a dealership, dropping dealership content soon, how to get your dealer license, because I'm sure like myself, many of you are car enthusiasts, and that's a side hustle of yours, is flipping cars, so you might want to get your dealer license down the road. So yeah, that just about sums this video up, guys. I appreciate you viewing. I just like hit, my subscribers shot up. I'm at like 220 now. Very thankful for all of you. I'm blessed to have this channel, and I'm excited to grow. Be sure to follow all my social medias. They're linked down below. My handle on literally everything is Redline Dill. If you've encountered any issues on your 3.0T platform car, let me know. If there's anything that could go wrong on my car, any maintenance things I might be missing, let me know. Like I said, I try to stay on the up and up on this car. And yeah, guys, thanks for viewing, and I'm out.